Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and take off the axle nut first, which is this big nut. It's a 35 millimeter. I already loosened it. Alright, so next we're going to go ahead and take off the brake caliper. The two bolts right here, one up here, one down here. I'm going to get a bungee cord so I can hang this on the frame. Tie it to the bracket up here. That's for the brake hose. It's a metal bracket, so it'll hold it, no problem. Keeps the tension off the brake hose. Next, we're going to go ahead and take off the ABS line. Let me get a pliers. In this case, a screwdriver. You just pop it off with a clip right up here. Comes right out. And unclip it, put it to the side. 10 millimeter to get the brake hose bracket and the ABS line bracket. Now the bracket is loose. Then go get a screwdriver. You're going to want to pop off this clip right here, and you just get the screwdriver and put it between here, kind of wiggle it in there, and it comes right off. So now your ABS line is free. You don't have to disconnect it from the knuckle assembly, because for me it's a lot quicker and easier to do it that way. And now we're going to go ahead and take off or loosen the bolts for the upper ball joint, the lower ball joint, and the tie rod. I have a 13/16 for the tie rod. You can also use a metric variant of 13/16, but it actually fits really good on the 13/16. Just to the point where you can take it off with their fingers. There, you can move it freely and then leave it on there though. Now we're going to go ahead and take off the top bolt, 3/4 inch. And you're going to loosen this all the way till you can move it with your fingers. These nuts have nylon inserts to keep it from vibrating out. So that's what you want to get past. Now I can move it with my fingers, no problem. Now we're going to go for the bottom. Alright, so we got a 15/16 for the old ball joint. Loosen it so you could move it with your fingers. Alright. Now we're going to try to pop everything loose. Okay. Tie rod is loose. The tie rod's still in good shape, so we're just going to go ahead and keep that on here. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and loosen the upper ball joint, a few taps. Go ahead and take off the lower ball joint nut. Upper ball joint nut. Okay, upper ball joint's loose. Lower ball joint is loose. So you're gonna go at a motion, brings it forward towards you and down to get it off the CV axle and then to get it off the ball joint. then just push the CV with my thumb. Alright. Get the CV axle. I guess leave it here. Let's go ahead and loosen up the control arms. And that one is a 13/16. Okay, before I go any further, we're gonna mark these control arms so we can get them in the same spot. So it'll be a good drive to the alignment shop to get alignment done. So what I like to do is I like to mark it with the marker on both sides. That side's marked. And this one, just anywhere you could stick a mark that's gonna show where it is. Okay. This one also. Okay, so I can line up those marks again when I put it back together. Alright, so we got both of these. Okay, now I'm going to take off the strut assembly because we can't get the bolts for the control arms out all the way because the spring holds it. So we're going to go ahead and take off the strut assembly. 15mm bolts. Two bolts on the very bottom. This truck has a leveling kit on it, so you have these spacers here. If you have a leveling kit on yours, just mind which way the bracket is. Alright. So here's that bracket housing. Now we're gonna take off the 3 hat bolts. Those are also 15mm. A little tighter than it should be. Okay, 3 hat bolts are off. Now, just gonna move the control arm up, remove the strut assembly, done. Okay, and now we can get to these bolts, pop them off. Pull the control arm out. Control arm's out. You can see right here, the rubber bushings are starting to deteriorate on both sides. This side's a little worse than that other side is. Just a little bit of play on this one, not too bad. Now we could go ahead and put the CV axle to the side, and we're gonna go ahead and clean up the area where the ball joint goes. Get a little brake cleaner. We got it cleaned up a little bit. It wasn't too dirty, just a little bit of grease from the old CV axles when they had been bad. The CV boots were ripped and threw grease everywhere. So people may not agree with me, but instead of getting the ball joint press, these are actually pretty easy. I just like to hit them out, and I don't ever damage the control arm because this is raised quite a bit above the control arm. So get a good old trusty hammer. Get this right underneath my control arm so it doesn't bounce on me, because it doesn't have any stops to keep the control arm from bottoming out. And then you just whack away. Super muddy. Got a big mud mess on the bottom. But as you can see, it's almost out. Now I can just lightly ball joint comes out, zero hitting the control arm with my hammer. Alright, so I'm going to go over the ball joint I have. This is a Mevotech, I believe it's a TTX Extreme Tough. So it's nice and powder coated, forged ball in the inside, has integrated boot. So the boot ain't on the outside like this is. It's just kind of floating around here. This one's actually pressed in on the inside of it. And it's coated so it doesn't rust. Has a Zerk fitting, and it also has a lock right here where the factory one doesn't. And you can tell by looking at it, it's quite a bit more beefier. These are actually pretty good ball joints. I've never had an issue with them. I'll leave the part number to it for this 2011 Silverado on the description, so you could get it yourself if you want to go ahead and try it. But we'll go ahead and get this put in. And this is the old ball joint I just took out. So I don't know if you can hear it, but it has a lot of play back and forth. Quite loose, so it was in bad shape. They don't have no Zerk fittings to put new grease in it or anything like that either. So, you know, but you can see like the bare metal where it starts rusting real good. That's the part you got to break loose. But we'll get it installed, the new one. We're gonna go ahead and get this put in. Kind of hold it in there. My cap, because it goes past the control arm a little bit, so this cap will allow it to go past without hitting. And then in the bottom, just line it up as best as you can. And now it's going to apply even force all the way around to get it to pull in real easy. And then just check it in the bottom, make sure it's going in evenly. It looks like it is to me. I will have the part number to this ball joint press I have. It's really good. I'm able to do them on Dodge, all the way up to the 1 tons, Chevy. Haven't done the Ford yet and the ball joints. I've done those two on this kit, and it's working pretty good. Haven't had a problem yet. All right, and then you just take a quick look, make sure it's flush on the whole control arm, and it is. So it looks like it's seated to me. Go ahead and loosen it. Cap. Lower the whole assembly. Alright, so you see we got it just past where we can go ahead and get the C-clip on there. And it's pressed in nice and evenly. And then in case you're wondering what this is for the Zerk fitting. It's already drilled and tapped. And the Zerk fittings that come with this one is actually quite nice. Alright, so it comes with this cool castle nut. It's a different style instead of using the cotter pin. What it uses is an actual shaped pin. So it grips around the nut and it goes straight through the middle like so. And then they're easy to take out. And you can reuse these because you don't got to bend them and, you know, weaken the metal or nothing. So these are actually really nice. Also comes with your C-clip. Probably said that wrong, I can't remember what that is right now. And then your little Zerk fitting even comes with a little rubber cap for it to keep it sealed. Nice little setup. Very nice, just ready pre-threaded. Some of them, I know even the Moog ones, they're not even tapped. You gotta kind of tap it as you're putting it in. So those ones I don't care for that much. Not only that, this nut right here has Loctite on it. So that's pretty nice. Haven't even seen them come with it. Alright, so those are the details on that. Alright, so can't find my C-clip pliers, so I'm going to go ahead and use these small needle nose pliers. Get one side pushed into the groove and just work your way around it. Alright, it's in there, locking the ball joint. We're good to go on that part. Go ahead and use my crescent wrench. Okay, you want this to aim this way or this way, so you could get a grease gun in here and actually fill this up. And just put your cap back on. Now this is the Mevotech upper control arm. I'll have the part number for this in the description. These new bushings are a little hard to get in sometimes. You just gotta work your way in there. Okay. Okay, so as you can see, this side's right on my old marks. This side's a little bit off. So to adjust that, just gotta turn the nut and bring it down. Now it's right on. Now that'll get you real close when you get to the machine, or the alignment shop. It'll be real close. They won't have to work so hard to get it aligned, and it won't take so long to get it aligned. And on the way to the shop, it'll drive pretty good. I've seen where people's cars were ball joints are done and all that stuff and tie rods, and the car is screeching down the road because the tires are facing like this, and you can just hear all the way through. So you try to get as close as you can so you don't have to worry about that issue. Okay, so now we got to get the shock back in here, so push the control arm up. Get the strut assembly. Where it goes right there. Put the spacer back in it. Let me get my crowbar so I can compress this down. Close enough right there for now. Now we can get the 3 bolts up top put in. Let that go. Alright, Take this out. 2 lower strut bolts. These are 37 foot-pounds on the lowers and 37 foot-pounds on the uppers. Okay. And just snug these up. We'll torque them later after everything. But these upper ball joint, these upper strut hat bolts are gonna be 37 foot-pounds also. Now, all we gotta do is bring this back over here. Get this right over here. This is for me, helps me out, keeps me having to hold the whole weight of it. Okay. Around to get the ball joint in the same exact spot. Go ahead and lift up and it all compresses together. There it is. Had a little bit crooked. Put the top bolt on, kind of helps you hold the assembly for the upper ball joint. Okay, now I can lower this down. Put the lower nut on. Now this lower ball joint is Mevotech's. These are 27 millimeters. It's on a light torque setting, so that'll maybe 80 foot-pounds. Then I'll torque it with the torque wrench here in a bit. Now we're gonna go with the upper ball joint. Alright, so the upper ball joint torque is 37 foot-pounds. The lower ball joint is 92 foot-pounds. We'll go ahead and torque down the bottom one. And I rated the top one. Okay. Now you're gonna get your little locking pin. So I gotta go a little bit past because I'm right in the middle. So you could go a little bit past, even if it's past 92 foot-pounds. Almost there. Okay. So, just goes straight through like so. There we go. And you can see right here, it locks onto this castle nut right there, so they can't come out. So these are pretty cool little clips. So it's turning on the bottom. It has a little small place where you could put a wrench on it to keep it from turning on the stud. (13/16) and it is, I believe, 44 foot-pounds. So since I'm done with all this, now we're going to tighten up these upper control arms. They tighten up to 144 foot-pounds on each one of these bolts. I like to raise them up a little bit. That's where the tension spot was at, right off of this. So we're gonna go ahead and put this back up here. Not very tight. Good time if you need brake pads, go ahead and do it now, since you already had everything off. Okay. Get your ABS line. Just clip it back in. Get your line from up here. Click it back in. And then these two pieces right there, they just go right back in the hole. Line them up. And then it's in. And those brake caliper bolts are 74 foot-pounds. We got the upper control arm bolts torqued. We have the upper ball joint nut torqued. We have the lower ball joint nut torqued down here with the cotter pin put in. We torqued down the brake caliper. We went ahead and we torqued down the tie rod end, and then we torqued down the strut to the lower control arm. All we have left is the strut hat bolts, which is 3 of them. We'll get those torqued down to 37 foot-pounds. We got to go ahead and torque this center axle nut, which is 177 foot-pounds. Tighten it up a little bit. Here's a centric spacer for his wheels. Get that put on. The job is complete. So the last thing we'll do is torque this up, put the wheels on. The wheels are 140 foot-pounds, and lower it and deliver the truck to the customer. If you like my videos, please like, push a little bell for any new videos that come out, and subscribe. Thank you.